You're still here with us in Daybreak, and we're heading quickly now to the newspaper reviews here with Dr. Constance Ikuku. Dr. Ikuku.
Good morning, Nkechi. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, Ndi.
Yeah, hello, Constance. Glad to have you join us.
Great. To look at the newspapers this morning with us, we have Dr. Austin Maho. He is a lecturer at the International Institute of Journalism in Abuja. Hello there and welcome to the program. We'll begin with This Day newspaper. In This Day, NNPC makes major management changes, drops Ajia, Yasol redeploys Shego to finance. As trade restrictive measures by G20 spike, Konjo-Iweala urges restraint. Obsolete meters, SCCPC warns discourse of severe consequences against violation of consumer rights. Ribadu lists Tinubu's gains, vows to crush terror group. Lakurawa, Nigeria rejected spent force article in 2023. He will be too old to contest in 2027. He accuses Bauchi governor of instigating, misleading PDP. Minister Nyesom Wike of the FCT advised Alhaji Atiku Abubakar not to present himself in 2027. He also said the party has never had it so bad with regard to leadership, especially from the chairman of the Governors Forum, Bala Mohammed. I mean, choice words there from Minister Wike to Atiku. But what we are seeing is that one of the biggest problems of politicians of these days in Nigeria is their massive egos, and that's, really an issue for the country, Dr. Maho.
Yeah, Wike obviously seems to have a very large ego, and he has a big bone to pick with the PDP and the leadership of the PDP, and specifically the person of Atiku Abubakar, who was the last presidential candidate of the party in 2023. And from all indication, he seems as if he's not letting go of his battle with Atiku. And from the statement he made yesterday, it's obvious that, look, you can say the leadership of the PDP has its problem, but Wike itself it can be said to be one of the biggest problems of the PDP as a political party. He never lets go of any opportunity to throw jabs at the leadership of the party like he did yesterday, taking on Atiku Abubakar and, of course, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum. That's the person of the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed. So it continues. And what is he trying to say? He's exempting himself as not being part of the problem and laying the blame of the problem of the PDP on the desk of the leadership of the PDP. I think I have always been of the opinion that, look, we need an effective, with the situation in the country currently, we obviously need an effective opposition. It's very important because without opposition, what we have is a drift towards totalitarianism. And it's not healthy for a democracy. We should have a PDP that is ready to function as an opposition party. Right. And this infighting within the PDP is not helping anybody. And from all indication, we should ask, which party does Wike belong to? Is he in the PDP or is he in APC, or is he between the two? Somebody has described him as a political hermaphrodite.
He's in the PDAPC.
All right. Well, we'll see whether the PDP is able to resurrect itself at this point in time. We seem to be stuck with a class of 1999 of politicians, and the country is not is retrogressing because of that. Daily Trust this morning. FCT houses for judges, Falana counters Wike insists action unconstitutional. We still have Minister Wike here. The human rights lawyer Femi Falana says houses built for judges by the Federal Capital Territory under Minister Wike is an embarrassment to the judiciary. This is an arm of government that ought to maintain its independence, he argues. The FCT has approved construction of 40 housing units for judges and justices in the FCT. Wike says this is part of the renewed hope housing agenda. Some have described this as blatant bribery and capture of the judiciary, while others say the judges also deserve to have a decent accommodation. So opinions are divided. Ndi, what are your thoughts here? Wiki also says that the money has been approved in the 2024 budget. He's just doing his duty.
On that score, that statement, you could rightfully say that Wike is right. If it's been approved, if it's a law in the 2024 budget, but there are so many issues arising from this situation. Who approved it? The NAS. And the same NAS. Falana says the money allocated for building houses, giving cars to judges have been raised from 106 billion to 365. If that is so, one wonders then why the government, which Falana has said is not right to be building houses and giving cars to judges, will be then building houses and giving cars to judges. It rankles. The whole thing smells, really. And then there is the question that was put to Wike. If you have a case in a law court before a judge whom you have given a house and a car, justice must not just be seen to be, must not be done, but must be seen to be done.
Right.
He didn't answer that question.
I think quickly, if when you take a look at the Constitution grants judiciary financial autonomy. So
Yeah.
if judges need houses, if they need golden gavels, it should come out of the judiciary's own budget, managed by the National Judicial Council. And I think when the people that were writing the Constitution were putting that in, they placed that priority on financial autonomy. There's this saying that goes, he who plays the piper dictates the tune. It's whether he's doing it, he says he's doing it on behalf of Renewed Hope, House Agenda or something like that. It's just, it's there in the Constitution. If they need houses, it comes out of the judiciary's budget.
Well, that controversy continues.
That's a big problem.
We also remember that it was approved by the president, also by the Executive Council. So
yeah, but that's the executive
right
giving gifts, luxury houses to judges. So when they have a case in front of a judge who's living in a house that you've provided for them,
or driving a car,
there's potential bias there.
Okay, The Guardian. World Diabetes Day, epidemic worsens as cost of drugs hits 100,000 naira per patient monthly. Calls for tougher effective control of processed foods and sugar-sweetened beverages. An average of 7 million Nigerians are said to be affected by diabetes. The prevalence is attributed to dietary habits and lifestyle. The focus now should be on prevention, I guess, advocacy on a healthier lifestyle and diet, Dr. Mahou.
Yeah, we are drifting towards what I'll call from cost of living crisis to cost of existence crisis. It's all about cost of existence. It's not just diabetes, because I took my time and read that story, that it costs about 100,000 naira for a diabetic patient to be able to procure drugs, insulin in a month, and you can't divorce it from the escalating exchange rate between the naira and the dollar. So it's not just diabetes, it's the cost of every life-saving drug you see in the market today that has skyrocketed. So it's a cost of existence has shot up. How much do you think it even costs to treat common malaria today?
Yeah.
Before now, with 1,000 naira, you can treat malaria, but now the cost has equally shot up to maybe about 10, 20,000 naira. So is the situation we find ourselves as a country. And government has maybe tried one measure or the other by trying to remove tariff ahead on importation of drugs. But how effective that has been remains to be seen. I've not seen the effect of that. Right. Because all drugs on the shelf today, they've all quadrupled in prices.
Well, there is also the general sentiment that people need to pay more attention to changing their lifestyle and diet. Of course, you know, it's pretty expensive these days to have better or healthier options. But I think there's a lot of advocacy that should be done on that front. Let's look at Daily Sun.
When I read that, Constance, before you just continue, I was weeping. That story. What people need to go and read that story. it's a death trap, really. I was weeping at that story. Diabetes.
In this, not just a death trap, it's a death sentence. If you cannot afford life-saving drugs to take care of any health situation you find yourself, it's a death sentence on Nigerians.
So more prevention going forward before you get to that sick bed or that sickness.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Those of us who are healthy should be thankful.
Daily
Keep
Sun.
healthy.
Daily Sun. FG puts cost of fixing power at 10 billion naira. I guess a lot of people will say, go on and fix it if you know the cost already. Let's not hear about the cost all the time. Then Daily Telegraph, 2024 probe or Hajj probe, Nakon stinks, say reps. Yes, I agree, Commission Chair admits. Lawmakers query discrepancies and ask the chair how come there's a different subsidies for different people, full subsidy, half subsidy, and some have none. Why do we still run this kind of organizations that we have to fund, Dr. Mahu? Why do we still do this?
The power sector.
No, we're talking about the Hajj Commission.
The new Telegraph.
The new Telegraph,
yeah,
the Hajj Commission and the corruption there and the fraud and the fact that the chairman has been asked to go. He's been fired because of that.
Yeah, I remember that story very well. Nigeria is what it is. Nigeria is a country of you know, the more you seek to understand Nigeria, the less you understand. You know, when critical sector of the Nigeria economy is denied funding, but we are, you know, I was looking at an index recently, and the report stated that Nigeria is the second most religious country in the world. So, government, maybe based on that, find it obligatory to go on sponsoring Hajj and pilgrimage to Jerusalem. It's unfortunate when we leave critical developmental issue and now focus on religion. As religious as we are as a country, of what benefit has it been to the country? As prayerful as we are.
Right.
At the other time I was reading the news, the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria has declared a 40-day fast. Instead of us to get down, you know, roll up our sleeve and do the actual work of building a country that we all can be proud of, we've left everything to God. And I can say God has nothing to do with the problem of Nigeria. We as citizens, we are the one that must get into the trenches and dig up this country from the mess it has found itself.
And you know, Nkechi, you will think that because it's a religious organization, that it would, you know, the system and the way it's run will be clean and efficient, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
I mean, the system is the system, and what we know about Nigerian systems or institutions is that the rot runs deep. It runs down to the foundation. Remember yesterday we were talking about what the EFCC boss was saying about the power sector and how for over 20 years, I think contractors had not done up to 20%.
No, it's the MDAs generally.
The MDAs,
yes,
exactly.
all of them.
Had not done up to 20. So you
He spoke specifically
understand that
about power, about electricity.
This systemic failure, and when you talk about the story on the Daily Sun about the $10 billion public-private partnership to overhaul the power sector, I think Nigerians always focus on lack of funding. We need funding. When that funding comes, how does it work? And the government has now said, okay, they can't even fund the $10 billion, which is not a shocker. I think this administration is just I don't know how to put it. They are in a perpetual state of we are broke, but very ambitious.
Right.
So let's see what the overhaul will bring about. And now there's a new chair for NACON. Let's see if there's a different story.
Daily Graphic to the international headlines. Public split over parliament impasse. Majority rates legislature poor, others rate average and good. When you look at the poll on that front page, poor, 40.39% of people think that the legislature is very poor. Average, 32.96%, and good, 26.65%. The Ghanaians are not having it. They are speaking out publicly, and they think that this will affect the elections in December. Citizen, don't take my passport. A South African Football Association president, Derry Jordan, faces a 1.3 million rand fraud charge, and he was pleading with the judge not to take away his passport. We're on Citizen newspaper. The court says Jordan cannot visit France. The court also said that all evidence provided against him are verified, and he should definitely face the law. And then metro.co.uk this morning, shock appointment to lead world's biggest military. Trump's defense chief is a TV host. The new defense secretary is the first news TV host with no government experience. This paper has said that on the front page, when you look at it, you have him shirtless, showing his tattoos. And he used to be a National Guard officer who served in Afghanistan and Iraq. He will run the world's biggest military with $800 billion budget. Not only that, he will be in charge of 1.3 million active duty people plus 1.4 million reservists and civilian staff worldwide. Dr. Mango, some people think this is wild. I mean, it is jarring that Trump is picking him to head defense.
It can only be Trump. You know, we should expect more shocker from Trump. You know, people have said that if you look at his trajectory, you know, and he has reflected in the appointment he has just made now, I think one conclusion we can draw from it is that Trump pays more attention to loyalty, personal loyalty, than to...
Which is dangerous.
Personal loyalty than to competence.
Expertise.
Yes. And that is what is playing out. So why take somebody who doesn't have competence, you know, cognate experience in terms of making policy, decision? All he has is that he has been a former National Guard officer. He's just 44 years old. So his experience doesn't say much, that he has the capacity to manage an establishment that have global implication. So that is what is playing out. However, what I see is that we have a U.S. president who pays more attention to personal loyalty than to competence. That's what I see.
Austin, it's not, you're just talking about one. Tulsi Gabbard, who has a soft spot for Russia. Gers, who's under investigation, that's the Attorney General pick, for taking drugs and sex offense, who just resigned when the House was about to, Ethics Committee was about to bring out their findings. He just resigned quickly, and so that has ended it. Across the board, he speaks, except for Rubio, who his speak is kind of normal because he's been in the government circles. Except for that, the rest are just reasons.
No, it's worrisome. The world should be worried, and
it's worrisome.
you know, the signs are not pleasant at all.
I don't think it's that shocking coming from Donald Trump. Him himself has a lot of charges against him, so picking someone who has charges against him, I don't think it's shocking. And we know it's Trump's brand to value loyalty. He has said it himself. He does not care. Somebody said, I think a former Pentagon official said, how well you defend Donald Trump on television seems to be the main qualification.
We're out of time.
All right, that will be it. Thank you so much, Constance and Austin Maho, for being here this morning. I am Ndi Amogun, thanking you for watching. The next is The Morning Show.
Good morning. Thanks for staying with us. I am Ikechi Nana.